How's your history? Are you good at knowing your kings and queens of England? Apologies if you're not English. Maybe you are a great historian of your own nation and its history of rulers. Well, a question for those of you that think you're good at knowing your kings and queens. Who was king or queen of England in the year 1147? It's a long time ago, but who was king or queen then? Well, we'll come back to that a little bit later. We're told in the Bible that we must pray for those that rule over us. So we're to pray for the Queen, we're to pray for the government, the opposition. We're to accept that they're appointed by God and they need our prayers. But how they change, how they come and go. Maybe you struggle to remember different leaders, different prime ministers that we've had, even going back 3, 4 or so. But in today's Psalm 93, of course, we're reading about the ruler, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, our God, our Lord, who reigns forever. He's always been on the throne, and he always will be on the throne. He's from eternity past, he will be to eternity future. And no wonder it says these different things about him in this short little wonderful psalm, talking about his might, talking about his majesty, talking about his strength. Gives some different analogies of creation there, waters roaring and so on. And yet it's God who's sure and certain, who's firm, who can be depended on. So I've no idea how your faith is today. Maybe it feels quite strong. Maybe it feels quite frail and weak. Well, the wonderful thing about our lives as Christians is our faith does not depend on our own individual faith. Our faith depends on who we're trusting in. And that's God who's eternal. That's God who reigns forever. That's God who we've noticed and said is mighty and majestic and strong. Who was king, queen in 1147? King Stephen. We hardly know anything about him. He was so useless, apparently. There was no natural male heir to the throne, and back then they decided that girls were not allowed to be queens. And so he was taken from another family, and nothing is really recorded of him. He came and he went, like all earthly rulers, but not our God, who's certain and reigns forever. And that, however weak or frail your faith may be feeling today, is who you're putting your trust in.